What's going on, guys, and welcome to the first episode of my FIFA 17 career mode. It took ages to get a FIFA 17 video out and I apologise for that, but we are finally here. If you didn't know who we were starting a career mode with, we are starting with Bournemouth. As you well know, they've had a terrific rise over the last couple of years and they find themselves in the Premier League, this being their second season. Here we have the new objectives set for us in FIFA 17, which should make career mode more challenging and fun at the same time. But I'm buzzing to start this, so let's get into it. Here we have a new feature to the game in career mode where you get to select your own avatar. You have 11 avatars to choose from. I decided to go with one which looked relatively young because I'm 17 and I'm still in my leaner years. I also chose a tracksuit like I do all the time in FIFA because I'm not really a person who wears a suit. Okay, we're not at a wedding, we're trying to manage a football team, let's get that straight. So we get that done and we move on into the career mode itself. We begin at the Vitality Stadium or Dean Court or whatever you want to call it, with the usual invitation to one of 3 friendly tournaments, plus the usual couple of emails we get at the start of every career mode. The most important one though is the objectives we've been set for the season. If you want, feel free to pause the video and take a look at the objectives I've been set for the season with Bournemouth. In regards to transfers, I decided to disable the first summer transfer window because the Premier League as a whole spent over £1 billion in the summer, so I didn't see the point in spending money just because the Premier League teams have spent so much already. Onto the team itself, and we decided to train up Josh King, Callum Wilson, Lewis Cook, Jordan Ibe and Tyrone Mings. If you watched my Sunderland career mode from FIFA 16, not like any of you did because that career mode was absolutely crap, you will know I played the 4-2-2-2 formation, and as I've used it a couple of times in kick-off mode when using Bournemouth, and that I feel like it suits the team, we'll be using it for this career mode as well. So the normal starting 11 will probably in goal Arthur Bullock, with a back four of Adam Smith, Simon Francis, Steve Cook and Charlie Daniels. The 2 holding midfielders will be Jack Wilshere and Harry Arter. The 2 attacking mids will be Junior Stanislas and Jordan Ibe, with a front pairing of Callum Wilson and Benik Afobe. That'll be my usual starting 11 probably throughout the series, but if you want to see any player that's in the squad be part of the starting 11, feel free to leave your suggestions in the comment section below, and let's get on with the friendly tournament. Into our first match in the friendly tournament against FC Cologne, who are actually doing quite well in the Bundesliga in real life this season. I decided to sim the friendlies because I'm not all that interested in playing them and I'd rather just get on with the games in the league. Callum Wilson gives us the lead in the 22nd minute and Jack Wilshere doubles the lead 5 minutes later to give us a 2-goal cushion going into the break. Into the second half now, and after a couple of subs, Wilshere doubles his tally to take the score to 3-0, and later on in the second half, Josh King makes it 4-0 in the 79th minute to round off a good performance and give us a good win against a side who, as I said, are doing quite well in real life this season in the Bundesliga. Our next game in the friendly tournament is against Spanish side Osasuna. I decided to rotate the whole team from the Cologne game so that everyone got a chance to play in the tournament. Josh King gives us the lead in the 90th minute, that being his 2nd goal of the tournament, and at the minute he's showing me that he really wants to be given a starting berth. Osasuna miss a penalty just over 10 minutes before half time, meaning we go in 1-up at the break. Not much action in the second half, but they do equalise in the 66th minute through ex-Wigan striker Oriol Riera, and the game would go on to finish 1 apiece. Into our final group match against Hamburg, who are bottom of the Bundesliga in real life. We only need a point to advance from the group stages. I decided to keep the same starting 11 that drew to Osasuna in our second game. Josh King again gives us the lead, this time in the 16th minute. Ryan Fraser doubles the lead on half an hour to make it 2-0. Into the second half, where not much happened early on, Lewis Cook picks up a booking, but King is there again to make it 3-0. He's on absolute flames at the minute. Nikolai Muller, the ex-Mainz man, pulls one back for Hamburg, but it finishes 3-1 and we advance to the semi-finals. Our semi-final is against another Bundesliga team in Darmstadt. I decided to revert back to my strongest starting 11 for this match. Apart from a yellow card for Steve Cook, nothing really happened early on. In the other semi-final, Cologne took the lead against Deportivo with Matthias Lehmann the goal scorer. Steve Cook picks up a 2nd yellow card and is sent off, and a minute later Darmstadt take the lead through big striker Dominic Strangel. After quite a few subs, Jack Wilshere brings us level in the 68th minute, It looks like extra time might be needed, but no, Mario Varancic pops up late on in the 87th minute to win the game for Darmstadt and send us crashing out at the semi-final stage. So the opening weekend of the Premier League season finally arrives, and because the real fixtures are being used, our first game is at home to Manchester United. Now this season the board set the target of finishing mid-table, and that's what I want to do as well. I want to finish mid-table. It's a realistic target for the club. I feel like the club should be finishing in and around mid-table. Something like 11th or 12th would do nicely in the first season. On to the starting lineups, where we go with our usual 4-2-2-2 formation with Artur Balk in goal, the back four of Adam Smith, Simon Francis, Steve Cook and Charlie Daniels. Jack Wilshere and Harry Arter will sit in the midfield, while Junior Stanislas and Jordan Ibe will provide the width, and leading the front line will be Callum Wilson and Benik Afobe. On the bench are Adam Federici, Nathan Aki, Tyrone Mings, Andrew Serban, Max Gradle, Dan Gosling and Josh King. Now if you watched my Sunderland career mode, you will know I signed Benik Afobe for Sunderland, and he was just a machine. He formed a formidable partnership with Jermaine Defoe up front, and I'm hoping he can replicate it with Callum Wilson here at Bournemouth. As for Man United, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Paul Pogba surprisingly don't start. Neither does Enrique Mkhitaryan, but then again he has ruined his career by going to Man United. There's no David De Gea in the starting lineup here either. Sergio Romero takes his place in goal, and Phil Jones starts in the back line, which is good for every opposition team. And with the team news out of the way, let's get into the game. So the first chance comes not long after kick-off. Charlie Daniels pings the ball down the left of Jordan Ibe. There's a lovely quick turn inside to deceive Matthew Darmian, from where it's played on from Callum Wilson to Benik Afobe and eventually Junior Stanislas, who turns Luke Shaw and forces a good save out of Sergio Romero. He goes out for a corner. From the corner, Charlie Daniels puts the ball in. Harry Arter rises like a salmon and forces another good save out of Romero down to his left, and the ball is cleared, but it was a bright start from the Cherries. The next proper chance in the game comes when we start a counter-attack after Jack Wilshere steals the ball from Memphis Depay in our own half. The ball is then played quickly from Steve Cook to Adam Smith to Harry Arter and then to Benik Afobe. He plays a 1-2 with Callum Wilson, which sends him away. After eventually reaching the United penalty area, he's tackled by Daley Blind, but Wilson recovers the loose ball, turns Luke Shaw, plays it to Adam Smith, who plays it to Junior Stanislas, whose shot is saved by Sergio Romero to keep the game scoreless. However, in the 45th minute, our pressure on the Man United goal finally pays off. Junior Stanislas receives the ball from Adam Smith down the right and is allowed to run into the area, and his deflected shot is saved by Sergio Romero, and it goes out for a corner. And from the corner, Charlie Daniels plays it short to Jack Wilshere. He puts it into the area, Romero punches it clear. Wilshere gets it back in first time, and it's a wonderful header from Simon Francis. It hits the post and it comes out to Callum Wilson to head it into an empty net. He opens his goal scoring count for the season and gets us off the mark as well. It's a deserved lead, and we're going at half time 1 goal up. At the start of the second half, Jose Mourinho decides to introduce Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Here Michael Carrick wins a header and plays it to Wayne Rooney. He plays it to Zlatan, who turns Simon Francis. He plays it back to Rooney, but his shot is straight at Artur Balk, and that summed up Man United's game really. They weren't really that threatening and showed very little promise in this, the opening game of the season. So that's it for the opening match of the season, and we have beaten Manchester United by 1-0. I'm sorry for the lack of second half highlights, but not much happened in the second half. But it's a fantastic victory and a great start to the season. I'm hoping we at Bournemouth can build on this victory and take the feel-good factor into our next game against West Ham. So in the other game from Sunday's fixture, Arsenal beat Liverpool by 3-0 to send them top of the league. Also, before the West Ham game, our League Cup second round opponents were revealed to us, and look who we got. Yep, we got Notts, and if somehow you don't know by now, with all the vlogs up on my channel, I am a Notts County fan, so that game should be interesting. But for now, let's focus on this match against West Ham at the London Stadium. Here we are for our second game of the season, away at West Ham United at the London Stadium, which I have to say looks quite good in FIFA 17. We are hoping to kick on from our win over Manchester United and try and make it 2 wins from 2, but by no means will this be an easy task. On to the team news, and there is no Dimitri Payet in the whole squad, not in the starting 11 or on the bench. So it's a 4-2-3-1 with ex-Birmingham keeper Darren Randolph in goal, a back four of Sam Byram, Harold Northlight, James Collins and Arthur Masuaku, Chet Kouyaté and Pedro Obiang will be the holding midfielders. The three in front of them will be Mikel Antonio, Gokantore and Manuel Lanzini, with the tree stump himself, Andy Carroll up front. On the bench is Adrian, Winston Reid, Mark Noble, Jonathan Kaleri, Angelo Ogbonna, Sofiane Feghouli and Diafra Sakho. As for my Bournemouth side, I decided to keep the same team that beat Manchester United. Again, feel free to pause the video and take a look at the teams, and with that finished, let's get into the game. The first real chance of the game comes around about the 20th minute when Steve Cook receives the ball from Adam Smith after West Ham had cleared. From then it's played to Jack Wilshere, who turns Harold Norvite and gets into the box, but his cross isn't the best. But Stanislas recovers it, plays it to Harry Arter, who has a very good shot from around 25 yards out, which goes narrowly wide. Here's the replay and it just shows how close Arter's shot was to going in. But from the goal kick we immediately put the Hammers back under pressure. Simon Francis wins the header, Chet Kouyaté wanders off on the ball, and then Benik Afobe and Callum Wilson play a good one too, but Afobe's shot is blocked by Norvite and goes out for a corner. From the corner, Charlie Daniels puts it into the area, but Norvite is there again and it comes out to Andy Carroll, who miscontrols it, allowing Jordan Allen to head it to Simon Francis. He turns Mikel Antonio and produces a wonderful finish into the bottom corner to give us the lead. And what about that? A centre-back with the finish of a striker. Who thought Simon Francis had that in his locker? It's a great strike by the defender and it gives Bournemouth a 1-0 lead.
Good finish, and they're looking a very classy side at the moment.
But West Ham respond almost immediately when Andy Carroll, Pedro Obiang and Gokantore link up. The on-loan Besiktas winger then plays it back to Pedro Obiang, but his shot deflects off Steve Cook and goes out for a corner. Torre also takes the corner, in which Jack Wilshere dangerously heads it back to Harry Arter, but we don't fully clear our lines. James Collins recovers the ball, plays it to Manuel Lanzini and his shot just goes wide of the left-hand post. Just before half-time, West Ham have another chance to go level. There's some build-up play involving Chet Kouyaté, Manuel Lanzini and Mikel Antonio. Antonio then takes it past Charlie Daniels, plays inside to Kouyaté, who plays a good ball through to Andy Carroll, but he gets it all wrong and misjudges the pass. It was a really good chance and our defending really wasn't great, Cook and Francis leaving a massive space for West Ham to exploit. But luckily we get away with it and we go into half-time 1-0 up. Into the second half, and just before the hour mark, Arthur Masuaku receives the ball on the left wing. He shows some silky footwork to confuse Junior Stanislas, and then Adam Smith just completely wipes out Gokantore, giving the Hammers a free kick, but surprisingly Smith doesn't get a booking. They then make a substitution, bringing on Mark Noble for Pedro Obiang. Torre takes the free kick, aimed towards Sofiane Feghouli. He goes up for it, but Jack Wilshere beats him to it and heads the ball into his own net to give West Ham the equaliser and make the score 1-1. And to be honest, they had deserved it. They had ended the first half the better team. And there the replay shows Jack Wilshere clearly gets the crucial touch to it. And with 30 minutes to go, it's West Ham 1, Bournemouth 1. Just past the 70th minute we get a good chance to go back in front when Benik Afobe releases Jack Wilshere down the wing. He puts a nice chip through ball to Callum Wilson, but the ex-countryman spoons his shot horribly wide. This wasn't our only chance though. We had in the second half to retake the lead. Wilson, Afobe and Max Gradle all had opportunities to make the score 2-1. But 1-1 is how it would finish. It really was a clash of two halves. West Ham dominated the first half but we scored, whilst in the second half West Ham scored but we dominated later on. And as I've said, that Wilson chance isn't the only one we had in the second half. It's just I don't want this game, the West Ham game that is, to go on for too long in the video. But with that game over, our focus turns to our League Cup tie at home to Notts County. For our League Cup game against Notts, I decided to rotate the whole starting 11 so that everyone got a chance to play. That includes a start for Academy graduate Jordan Lee at right back. 8 of the Notts 11 usually start League 2 games for us in real life. French striker Lys Mousset gives us the lead in the 26th minute. Apart from that, nothing really happened in the first half. In the second half, Callum Wilson scores in the 52nd minute to make it 2-0 a minute after coming on. After a few subs are made by both sides, Andrew Sermon makes it 3-0, but immediately Gennaro Schneider's responds to make it 3-1. I was quite happy for Notts to score against us because at the end of the day they are the club I support, but we do go on to win the game by 3-1 and we advance to the next round of the League Cup. There were a few shocks in the League Cup. Aston Villa beat Middlesbrough by 2-0, but then again they are the most overpowered team in the game in my opinion. Barnsley beat Stoke by 2-1 at Oakwell. Bristol Rovers beat West Brom 5-4 on penalties after they drew 2-2 in normal time. As we go down the list, Rochdale knocked out Watford by a 0-0 at Scotland, and with that, let's look at the league table. And as for the league table, I know it's early days, but Chelsea and Stoke are the only teams still with a 100% record. Arsenal and Burnley round out the Champions League places with Everton in 5th. We are sitting in 6th and title favourites Man City are 8th. The bottom 3 consists of West Ham, Middlesbrough and surprisingly Liverpool, who are the only team still yet to score a goal. But that is it for today. If you could drop a like on the video, that would be awesome. Tell me in the comment section who you started career mode with and who you've signed for that club. Also comment on what I can do to improve these videos for you guys. You contributing to try and help the channel grow really helps, and I appreciate that. Be safe, be champions, and as always, toodaloosh.